Hey guys, it's M4J here, and welcome back to the M4J network here on OpenTTD. I'm sorry it's been so long since I last got to say those words. Basically, been really tied up with work, and as I said on the Discord. By the way, if you are wondering where these videos go from time to time, please do join the Discord because it gives you a very good opportunity to check in and see what's going on and things like that. And obviously I can't plug it enough because it's mine and I made it and I'm very proud of it. So please do join the Discord, join the conversation, join the community, all that good stuff. But to go back to the excuses, I'm very busy with work, and as I said on the Discord, I was trying to come up with ideas for like M4J network light videos. So maybe like if I don't have enough time to record a full 20, 25, 30, 35, whatever minute video, I could do like a little 10-minute something, which would just be like a speed build of something, or maybe like rebuilding a station or changing a junction layout or something like that, and have that as something for you guys to watch at least on a Thursday, because I don't want to shortchange you all, but at the same time, I have other commitments now that I need to get on with. Fortunately this week I did have some time, so here I am. But let me know what you think about those smaller project ideas, and if you have some ideas for things that could be built or rebuilt quite speedily, that would be very useful. That's the word I was looking for. Be very useful, so I can start coming up with a list of ideas, as it were. Anyway, so what are we doing today? Today I've been, as I said, struggling for some ideas regarding the network, trying to come up with bite-sized projects that I could get stuck into that don't take huge amounts of time, for example. And one of those ideas was doing something around here at Brenfingley Astrea station. Now, I spoke a long time ago now about rebuilding this station, because right now on the Guard City Great Eastern franchise, it only had two platforms, one northbound, one southbound, and it's quite a major station when you think about it, not just on the Great Eastern network, but also the network as a whole. It's one of the only places on the entire network where conventional rail, high-speed rail, and Transrapid all meet. And it might also be the site of a future airport, I think I might have said at one point, although that might change now. We'll see about that. But yeah, because it's one of these only places where the three types of rail meet, I kind of felt like, so the high-speed platforms are pretty established, and the Transrapid, two in each direction, that could change in the future. There is capacity for more. But the rest of the station, the heavy rail station, was just a bit meh for what it is. So I wanted to do something with that anyway. Plus I had an idea for a new branch line that runs to the southeast. More on that in a future episode. And I wanted to do something to the northwest as well, and turn this into like an X-shaped station, where trains come in from all four diagonal points, and then leave in all four diagonal points: northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. That's what I mean by diagonal points. And this is the solution to that problem. So, first and foremost, we have built 7 new platforms to the east of the Transrapid platforms. What numbers those platforms are getting yet, I don't know. Every station on the network, actually that's something, I might have to have a little chat with George, because I just had a thought about the database. I'll come back to that. We got 7 platforms on the eastern side of the Transrapid. We've then got the 4 Transrapid platforms. We've then got the 6 high-speed platforms, and then we have another pair of heavy rail platforms. And that's kind of the uniqueness about this station. So if you're traveling from the southwest to the northeast, you will go through the group of 7. If you're traveling from the southeast to the northwest, you'll go through the group of 7. If you're traveling from the southeast to the northeast, you'll go through the group of 7. However, if you're traveling from the northwest to the southwest, you will go through the pair instead. And I think that's a good way of splitting traffic, but at the same time keeping the original platforms whilst also building the new platforms. There's now terminus facilities here, so trains can turn around from Nut Hill or from Denston. There's more capacity, platform capacity. The overall station shape hasn't changed too much. The tunnels on the Transrapid were there anyway, so we haven't changed too much there. And I think we just tidied it up a little bit better. We made it look a little bit nicer. We've made some of the junctions here quite realistic looking as well. We no longer have these like really long exit roads out of stations where the waypoints would have been in the past. We can now control all that from a single pair of signals, one in each direction. I just think it looks really cool. I really like it, and you'll see me add some eye candy later on in the episode as well, which I think makes this station look really nice indeed. I have oversized the bus station, by the way. I'm going to replace some of the bus stop berths with maybe like a car park or something instead. Excuse me while I take a quick drink as well. And yeah, this new branch line then. So from the southeast, there will be a branch line. I don't know exactly where it's going yet. I've planned to build one, but I need to go have a good long hard look and see roughly where it will go. There's lots of new 2-track branch lines that I want to build across the north/northeast section of the map. And this could be the catalyst to actually get on and do that. Kind of like rural branch lines. I've been keeping tabs on the BR trains situation with what's going on there. What I do know for sure is all my M4J rail livery trains are probably going to have to be replaced in the future, because I want to completely redo mine from scratch. I'm not really happy with them, let's be honest. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. The ones I don't like are... So right now I kind of pick a livery and then just reskin it. So like just change the colours from like black to blue, for example. And that's fine, but I want like a consistent across the board livery. And there are certain trains that don't have a BR blue livery, for example. There are certain trains that don't have a Network Southeast livery, for example. And most of the time, those are the two that I convert. But there are also things like the Intercity livery for the HSTs and the Class 91s. There are no BR blue liveries for a Class 91. There's no... well, I mean, there's a BR blue for an HST, but it's like the Intercity variant of that. And I just, yeah, there's no consistency is what I'm trying to say. So I want to try and make a set of M4J liveried vehicles that is a little bit more consistent. So the paint scheme is very similar. The only thing that really changes is the body shape. Don't know how easy that's going to be to do, but I like the fact that we've got all new train types coming to the set in the near future. I think like the Pacers are being added. There's loads of underground stock that's coming. Lots and lots of things like that. And I'm very excited about that. So the trains that we have, excuse me, the trains that we have here on the network currently will be changing. Some of the more express services, no, what am I saying? Sorry, some of the more commuter services will be maybe receiving a stock upgrade or a stock downgrade. We'll see. Obviously, I still want to run to capacity, but there might be some rural branch lines, for example, that only have like Pacers running on them. Maybe a Pacer with a 153 attached, that kind of thing. I think that's a really good idea myself. Realism takes you back to the 1990s, which is where the network is supposed to be set. And yeah, I just think it's good. I think the BR train set now is looking absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I don't want to say that. I nearly gave away something then, but I don't think I should, because I don't think that's very fair. But whenever it's released, I'm really looking forward to being able to get it into the game. And that's one of the reasons why I think I might have to revert some of the M4J liveried stock back to BR Blue or whatever it might be, because I'm planning on installing the new set, and the new set doesn't have any M4J rail liveried vehicles, of course. So instead of just breaking my save game, I think I might just revert and replace, as it were. Anyway, this branch line here then that I'm building, this is what's known as the HighSpeed Chaser, in that it's, imagine these lines were built the other way around first and foremost. So the HighSpeed came after this one in terms of the law of the network. This one kind of snakes its way around the hills a little bit more, takes the longer route, the scenic route, as it were, whereas the high-speed route came afterwards and just carved its way through the hills and the mountains and the valleys and all that kind of thing, and, you know, bridged over towns and cities and all sorts. So this line here, I mean, you'll see where the episode title came from now. I believe I'm going to be calling it High-Speed Parallels. This line runs between Brenfingley Astrea and the junction just before, I want to say, Wenning-Poole-Acidalia, but I think that's wrong. Is it Apollonia? It might be Apollonia, actually. Anyway, it's the line on the Guard City Great Eastern franchise. This is probably going to be predominantly a Great Eastern branch line, but I think, is it Great Central, we said, or Grand Central? Probably Grand Central, actually, that operates from east to west across the map. That will probably use some of this line as well. And I think that franchise is going to form more of a plus shape now. So it's not going to be like cross-network and cross-region, or cross-country and cross-region, which is part of cross-network. It's going to be more of a plus shape in the center-ish of the map. So you can imagine it running from, let's say, Lenway Rialta to, I think it's Acidalia, it might not be. But wherever this line terminates, it's the little branch line that branches off of the Menpool City branch of the Guard City Great Eastern. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this because I've got loads of tabs and windows open at the moment. I don't think I can run the game whilst I'm doing all this. I can't even open the game right now to read out the names of the stations. If you know the network, you'll know where I'm talking about. If you don't know the network, you don't really need to know the network to get where I am right now. You can always download the latest version of the network from my website, of course, link in the description down below, and you'll get a rough idea of where we are and what we're doing. But yeah, this is it's a rural branch line, 2-track, one in each direction. It might see some fast services. It's kind of a bypass. You don't have to go through Nut Hill City Centre if you take this route. It's more direct, and it links up, Menpool City and Denstone Carnegie a lot better via Brenfingley. And I think that's why this line is actually kind of a crucial connection here on the network. It links up 2 high-speed stations. You could potentially have a little all-stopper that runs between the 2 high-speed stations. And I think it's something that needed to be done. It's kind of a nice precursor for what I've got in mind for the rest of the network with these little 2-track branch lines. And hopefully you guys think it's a good idea too, basically. That's where I'm going with this. To go back to the database quickly, the reason I stopped myself just now and said, yeah, I need to talk to George about that, is I just realised I didn't have... So we're building this database, we started working on it. I've been very badly learning how to use the software that we're planning on using. And I've been creating tables. So the database exists now, it is a thing. And I've been creating tables, like indexes. And one of them was for stations, the station index. And I wanted to have every single station on the network catalogued in this database, which is what we're working on right now. We're going to start with stations, then we're going to work on routes, and then franchises, I think, in that order. Because it's very easy to say, this station is on this route, but it's not necessarily operated by this franchise. And that's where the two main differences come into it, but the 3 main categories: station, route, franchise, in that order. So I've got a station index, and it's got things like the 3-letter code that the station has, the station's name, of course, what route it's on, what franchise is the main operator. So with route, it's route/S, because, for example, Brenfingley Astrea is on the Guard City Great Eastern Nut Hill City Centre branch. It's also on the high-speed main trunk route. No, that's not true. It's on the high-speed Plenborough branch. I think it's Plenborough. It might. No, it is. I'm sure it's Plenborough. And it's also on the Transrapid trunk route. That's where I was going with that. So you have to put all 3 of those down. So that's probably going to end up being like a list box. So it will have all the routes that the station sits on. And then the thing that I forgot was number of platforms. And maybe we could do number of platforms for each route. So in this case, it's got 9 platforms on the Guard City Great Eastern, it's got 6 platforms on the high speed, and it's got 4 platforms on the Transrapid. I'm pretty sure there would be a way to actually log all of that. Then it's also got connections at the end, which is if it connects to a bus station, for example, or an airport, or a dock. And that will just be a simple drop-down list. And George, currently, I need to check up on the progress, is working on a piece of code that will allow me to have a UI interface that I can just put all this data into. Because right now, if I follow the tutorial that I was following, I would have to manually type out by hand 1653, I think it is, or it was before I recorded this. It's probably 1690 or something by now, stations, and all of the individual data for those stations, including the station codes and things like that, which is a faff at the minimum and a pain at the maximum. So I don't really want to do that if I can avoid it. So hopefully this UI interface will not only allow me to speed up the process a little bit, but maybe also throw up duplication errors. So if I have this, two stations with the same code, for example, it'll flag that up. Or if I make any mistakes, it should flag that up as well. And believe me, I'm sure I will make mistakes. I spent a long time today alone working on a spreadsheet for my other job, trying to do conditional formatting, which sounds really easy, but if you saw the code that I have to use right now to make this spreadsheet work, and it's a vanity thing, by the way. This spreadsheet doesn't need the conditional formatting to function correctly. It's mainly for my benefit more than anything. You'll see what an absolute faff I made it. Like, just stupidly overcomplicated, but I like it, and it works now, and I'll be using it for my own stuff as well, version of it. So excuse me, my voice is going again. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so to go back to that's it, I make mistakes. People who've commented on my videos recently as well will probably notice I make some mistakes, or I don't necessarily, just scratch my leg, don't necessarily see things properly. And most of that is down to tiredness, to be honest, because I'm still trying to get to grips with my new schedule and my new life and things like that. So bear with me on that one. But yeah, the code will hopefully point out the mistakes that I'm making when it comes to putting data into the database, and then make sure that I don't make those mistakes, or at least they don't get put into the database. They get fixed before I hit submit. So to go back to the database plan, the stations are going in first so that we can get the routes sorted, and then the routes are going in so that we can get the franchises sorted. And the reason I want to get the franchises done as quick as possible is because I do want to go and log all of the vehicles on the network, and the services. So I think I'll actually do the services first, because it should be easier to link those two franchises. Each franchise will have a list of services that operate on that franchise, and then vehicles, it'll be a case of creating an entire index of all the vehicles that I'm using or planning to use, and then going into those and saying you're now working on this service. So it should be a case of there'll be on my website, hopefully there'll be a little search box, and you'll type in whether it's a vehicle number, a vehicle name, a franchise, a service classification, whatever it might be, or even down to the station name, and you'll be able to find out the information. And I really want to come up with a system where, depending on where you are in the world, it will convert your time zone to Greenwich Mean Time or British Summer Time. I think UTC is the classification for. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to commit to saying that. I think GMT is now UTC, which is Universal Time Code, I think it stands for, or Time Convention. I think it's Time Code. But the idea is, say you're in New York. I believe New York are 4 hours behind the UK. I think that's correct. So say it's 12 p.m. in New York, and you go on my website and you type in a station name, say Guard City St. George, it will tell you all of the trains that are due to leave Guard City St. George in the fictional M4J network at that time. So 4 p.m. here in the UK. That's the plan. And I kind of want it to be a little bit like the National Rail app, where it will maybe help you plan journeys, obviously fictional journeys, because you can't travel into the network itself. But let's say you wanted to go from Sunnington to Sannington, it would tell you, using the data for timetables, it will tell you the fastest way to get between those 2 points, or at least it will advise you on the most direct way to get between those 2 points, which from my reckoning would be a Western Reaches North train probably to Portfield, and then a Western Reaches South train. Actually, no, maybe not to Portfield. I'm trying to work it out. I don't know, actually. That's a tricky one. I'll have to go and look at that. But that's the whole point of us doing this, is to come up with that sort of thing. Probably have to build an AI system to do the recommended journeys, or we just tell it which ones to do, but that might be quite time consuming. But you kind of get where I'm going with this. It's a very, 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 very ambitious project, and it's probably going to take a long time to complete. But to start with, I just want to come up with a list of stations with their codes, a list of vehicles and their franchises and their services, and a list of services and their franchises, and have it all intertwined together. That's the plan. But right now the priority is putting all of the stations on the network, including the ones you've seen built today, into the database, and having an entire index of every single station on the network, how many platforms, what route it is on, and any connections that it might have to other forms of transport. That is the priority. And then we can go on and do other stuff, because it should be a case of, once you've got one index built, it should be a case of rinse and repeat for the others. You might have to change a couple of header names here and there, but otherwise it should, it should be relatively straightforward to at least make the tables. The code itself might be a bit trickier, depending on what kind of things, whether it's a drop down, whether it's a text box, that kind of thing. Anyway, we're coming up to the good bit of the video. You get to see the eye candy go in for the station. There's a few things that I would change here. One thing that I'm really not happy about is these diagonals where the station, where the tunnel entrances are. I really would like to be able to put something on the diagonals themselves. But obviously I can't. And I just don't think it looks very nice because of that. I feel like it takes away a little bit. Once the greenery grows in, it might not be a massive issue, but I just don't think it looks particularly pretty to have these weird, like, green triangles where eye candy could go. So I don't know if there's a way around that. Maybe there's an object type that can cover those gaps, based on the non-track station tiles, or the non-track tiles that we've got here. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we've gone with a more modern building here. You can imagine this was built in the early to mid 90s. This massive transit hub with the high speed, the trans rapid, and now the heavy rail. You can imagine the heavy rail existed first, and then the high speed and everything was built next to it. It kind of looks like that, to be fair, and you can see where this new viaduct has been built for the pair of lines to travel across the high speed line. And also there's a road there, and I was tempted to build a waterway in there as well and have a dock, but I don't really think it would work very well, so I've avoided that for now. I might just have it be a little canal type thing that disappears into one of those ICAD water bridge things. Water tunnel, maybe. Just make it look like there was a river, but it was diverted underneath the station when it was built. That could work quite well. I think, is it Leipzig Central Station that has a river that runs through the centre of it? I think someone told me that when I played Cities in Motion. I kind of want to see it, actually. That sounds really cool. But yeah, this is basically the design of the station. We got some bus stops, we got some platforms. There may be an airport in the future. I don't know yet. If that is the case, it's very easy to update on the database. You just add a little checkbox next to airport as well. But yeah, let me know what you think of this design down below. Let me know what you think about the database. If you can help, if you're a database specialist, please do get in touch. I'm looking for lots of people to help out with this, to be honest, and make it a community project. Maybe even putting it on GitHub or something in the future, and crowdsourcing it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series so far. Drop those comments down below with ideas for future episodes. Like I said, ideas especially for the M4J Network Lite videos, things that can be done in sort of 5-10 minutes, either as a live build or as a time lapse. That kind of thing would be handy. And just ideas for the main episodes as well, if you've got any. The network overview series, I am still working on it. I have got videos ready to go. I might just upload those so you've got something to watch. One of the reasons I'm holding off on that still is because I want to come up with a faster way of doing the captions. Because that's arguably the longest process right now, is I create them on Photoshop and then animate them afterwards. And I think there might be a way that I can do it on After Effects instead, which will speed up the process considerably. But yeah, ideas for episodes, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.